Hello guys, it's Steve here. It is March 15th, 2016. I'm gonna do a rant tonight, cause I'm in the mood to. I'm watching hockey, the Flyers and the Red Wings, but I don't know if this is an odd rant or not, but this is gonna be a rant about, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Yeah, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors and shit. Let me get a drink first. Hang on.
Comes from a place where raw strength is just a starting point. Where doing something means doing it right. Where unrivaled dependability is backed by the strongest warranty.
My throat's all itchy today. Fucking hate that shit. But yeah. Don't you guys just hate smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors? Oh, but Steve, they're meant to save your life and shit. How could you hate them? You shouldn't hate them. They're meant to save your life and shit. They're meant to save your life. You should like them. You should like them. Cause what if there's an actual fire? They'll save your life and shit. Yes, I know that. I know that they're meant to save your life and shit. I got that on my fire drills video I made like almost a year ago. Last year around this time I did a rant about fire drills and shit, which is one of my popular videos, has like over 1,000 views, but I got some comments on that video from people saying they're meant to save your life. I get that. I know they're meant to save your life and shit, but at the same time, I hate them, you know? I'm sure a lot of us do. And I'm gonna tell you some reasons why they piss me off and shit. One, like, when they go off and shit, they're so fucking loud and they scare the fuck out of me. Like, I'm like, it's all quiet and shit, and all of a sudden, they might go off for no reason or whatever. When they do go off, they just scare the fuck out of you. It scares the fuck out of me. It makes me jump and shit. They're just so loud and shit. I have sensory issues. I don't like really loud sounds. I'm sensitive to those sounds. But, yeah. And usually, they go off like when the batteries and shit are dead. Usually when the battery's like dead or maybe not dead, maybe when they're about to die, it always beeps and shit. Like, it like beeps for like, it's like this. And then 10 seconds later,
During the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, there's always cause for celebration. Are you kidding me? The Valley Ride with extraordinary offers on our most powerful performance line ever. The exhilarating IS.
It does it every fucking 10, 15, or 20 seconds. It keeps on beeping and shit,
Like this only happened during the command.
It's just fucking, it startles me and it's annoying and shit, Like, this has happened to me before. Like, one time this happened to me. This actually happened, like, a couple months ago. Like, it happened, like, sometime in, like, December or January. I remember, it was 2 in the morning and shit. It's even worse when that happens at 2 in the morning when you're sleeping and it's all quiet. It wakes you up, but I remember it was 2 in the morning. I was actually in the kitchen getting something to eat because I was hungry. So yeah, I was in the kitchen making myself something to eat because I was hungry, and my mom, she was actually sleeping, and the carbon monoxide alarm was actually in her bedroom. It's on her wall and shit. And I remember, yeah, while I was making myself something to eat, and it was really quiet and shit. It was really quiet. I forgot what I was making myself. I think I was maybe making myself, I don't know. But yeah, I was so quiet. I was minding my own business. It was so quiet. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a huge loud beep. And it fucking scared the fuck out of me. It scared the fuck out of me. And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Sleep that night and stay awake during the
Scared the fuck out of me. I'm like, maybe I'm hearing things. Maybe my ears are playing games with me. Okay then. So then I continued to do what I was doing, and then 10, 15, 20 seconds later, it beeps again. It scared the fuck out of me again. I got startled again. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Am I hearing things, or is that their actual beep? Then another 10, 15 seconds later, it beeped again. Beep! Fuck, you know? And then I realized it could be the fucking smoke alarm or the carbon monoxide alarm. Could be out of battery, because you know when it's out of battery, they beep and shit to let you know that they're out of battery. And I remember it woke my mom up. I remember my mom was sleeping. I remember she had like to work in the morning or whatever. And it woke her up. And she got all mad. She got pissed off that it woke her up. She got mad. And so she took the thing off the wall, took the batteries out, and just put it on the kitchen table. It's still on the table right now. Never even replaced the batteries. After that, just went back to sleep. And there was no carbon monoxide, because I think it would be like, if there was carbon monoxide, I think it just like beeps like for like a second every 20 seconds if it's out of battery. But there was no carbon monoxide. Hang on.
Choose any two iconic tastes. A Big Mac made with 100% beef, flaky filet of fish, quarter pounder with cheese, or crispy 10-piece chicken McNuggets for just $5. Hurry in for an amazing 2 for $5 deal on the McDonald's taste you love.
I'm sorry, my throat was so itchy today. I have to keep getting drinks, but what was I saying? Yeah. And you know, when other things run out of battery and shit, when it's like the battery's about to die, or when it does die, it doesn't make a noise. It doesn't make a beeping noise. All it does is just, the thing just turns off or whatever. You know what I mean? But for some reason, smoke detectors, they just do that. I know they're probably just meant to let you know that the battery's about to die and change the battery. You know? If the battery is dead, I think they might still go off. And so how could it go off if the batteries are dead, you know? I think it might just be when it's about to die. But, excuse me, but you know, God, I remember that day, that night I was just talking about. Yeah, it just pissed me off. And I remember I went back in my room and I was covering my ears so it doesn't scare me again, you know? But, you know, fuck. Sometimes, another time, I remember this was back in like 2009 sometime. This was at my dad's old house. I remember my dad was living at a mobile home at the time. I made videos there before. But we were at his old house, the mobile home, and I remember we had a carbon monoxide detector in my room. It was actually in my bedroom or whatever. And I remember it was like 7, 8 in the morning. I was trying to sleep. I was just like trying to sleep. And I remember I was up, but I was trying to go back to sleep. It was really quiet in my room, and all of a sudden, I heard a beep, and it came from the carbon monoxide detector. And then it beeped again another 10 seconds later, and it just kept on doing that. You know? It just kept on doing that, and it fucking startled me. It scared the fuck out of me. And I remember I had to cover my ears, and then I remember my dad came in my room, and he's like, I guess it woke him up too, and he's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know, I come from the carbon monoxide detector, and I kind of got worried that there might have been carbon monoxide. I'm like, oh no, there might be carbon monoxide, we need to get out of here. And my dad's like, relax, if it just beeps every 10 seconds, it's just out of battery. Gotta change the batteries of these. But you know, fuck that, and it happened a couple other times or whatever. Maybe with the smoke detectors too. I don't know. You know how sometimes I go into some people's houses or whatever, or you know I watch some YouTube videos and of people, you know, they're just sitting in their house making a YouTube video, and then in the background I keep hearing a beep every 10 seconds. It's like beep. The beep is like less than a second. It's like I don't know, you know what I mean. You know, it's like, God, change the batteries in your smoke detectors or whatever, cause that beeping sounds annoying. You know. Remember another time in 2006, this was the smoke detector. I remember I was spending the night at my grandparents' house for church in the morning that I was forced to go to. And I remember there was something wrong with the batteries or whatever in their smoke detectors, so it kept on beeping every 10 seconds and it was annoying. You know? Fuck. But God, I hate those. Hate when that happens. But yeah, now I talked about the batteries and shit when the batteries die. Now let's talk about, you know, the regular smoke detectors and shit, you know. When they go off for no reason. Like, mainly when you're cooking and shit. Well, I can understand why it goes off when you're cooking and shit. Maybe, because, you know, you're cooking, the oven is hot or whatever. Maybe your food might have a little smoke coming from it. And then the smoke detector, it thinks that maybe there's like a fire or whatever, so it goes off and shit. You know, I fucking hate that. Remember back in 2010 or whatever. I remember this was back in June of 2010. I remember I was in the living room. I was in the kitchen. It was here at my mom's house. I was in the kitchen. I was in the kitchen cooking something like on the stove or the oven or whatever. I forgot what I was cooking, but remember, like, either when I like took the pan off or whatever, or took the food out of the oven, I remember the smoke detector went off. All of a sudden it was like, and I got fucking scared. It scared the fuck out of me. It made me jump. I was like, ah! I was like that. It scared the fuck out of me. And I remember I actually screamed ah. And I remember, you know, I was panicking. I'm like, oh no, there's a fire. And there was no fire in the kitchen when I was cooking, but I thought maybe there was like a fire in like another room, like maybe in my room or my mom's room or the bathroom. I thought there was a fire somewhere, but turns out, you know, the smoke detector thought there was a fire in the kitchen when I was cooking, but there wasn't, you know? I fucking hate that. This happens all the time at my dad's house. At the house he lives in now and shit. Like, every time my dad and shit would cook dinner. Every time they cook dinner and shit. Like, mainly, it only happens like when, you know, the only time we cook, my dad or something would cook something out of the oven is if he's like making spaghetti and, you know, the sausage in the oven. It would only go off when we cook spaghetti. It could maybe be the steam from the spaghetti. You know, you're cooking spaghetti, you know, you're cooking the noodles in boiling water and shit, and turns into steam, and the steam could have the smoke detectors go off. I don't know. Or when he takes the sausage, he takes the sausage out of the oven. Or, you know, make a pizza and take the pizza out of the oven. Right when we would open the oven, the smoke detectors would always go off, you know? It pissed me off. I hate that. You know, every time you would like cook something out of the oven or whatever, or on the stove, the smoke detectors would go off all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of times it would. And I hated that. It would always scare the fuck out of me. You know? Sometimes I expected it. Sometimes, I knew they were cooking downstairs and the smoke detector came in my head. I'm like, oh no, the smoke detector might go off, so I'd cover my ears and shit. I'd be like, oh no. Or I'd put in my earbuds or whatever and listen to loud music. I don't know, I'd do that. And sometimes it would go off. And, or sometimes, I wouldn't think about the smoke detectors. I'd forget about the smoke detectors, that they even existed. I'd be minding my own business. It'd be like quiet up in my room, and all of a sudden the smoke detectors go off. It would always fucking startle me and shit. It would scare the fuck out of me, when they would like cook spaghetti for dinner or a pizza, or even in the morning times they would like cook pancakes sometimes. On like Saturday or Sunday mornings they would cook pancakes. I'd be sleeping and it would go off and shit. The alarms would go off. Fuck. Scared the fuck out of me. And usually when my dad and his wife Heather cook something, and when the thing goes off, they usually like go, okay, the smoke detector, it's not really even near the oven. Like, it's somewhat near the kitchen, but like, I've made videos there before. Like, when you first walk in the house, there's like a hallway or whatever, and the kitchen and the living room's like straight down. The kitchen comes first, and then the living room is next to the kitchen. But the smoke detector is like on the ceiling near the door or whatever, so it's kind of far away from the oven in the kitchen. For some reason, when you open the oven, I don't know how it still senses the heat and shit, or the smoke. I don't know. But, it would always just go off and shit every time. Like, a lot of times they would cook something. Like, it would not happen when they would cook something out of the microwave or the toaster. Only like maybe the stove. Like the steam of the spaghetti on the stove, or pancakes, or taking something out of the oven, Oh, I remember the first time I experienced that. I remember this was like after a month after we moved to my dad's, the house that he lives now. I remember back in like late 2012, like, remember it was like the weekend right after Thanksgiving of 2012, we moved out of the mobile home, and we moved a couple blocks away to the townhome. We moved there like November of 2012, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It was like right after Thanksgiving of 2012 we moved there. And then I remember like a little after a month later, I remember the date, it was like December 17th, 2012. I remember my dad was still at work, and I remember I got home, and I got home from school, and I remember I decided to cook cookies, because there was cookie dough in the refrigerator. And I'm like, I want to cook some cookies. So I got the oven pan, I put some tin foil on the oven pan. I put the cookie dough, I rolled the cookie dough, put it on the pan, I put like some cookie dough, 6 cookies. I was making like, I don't know how many cookies I made, but I put the cookie dough on the pan, then I put it in the oven, and I really didn't even know how to use that oven either, because that oven was kind of different from the one we would usually use. That oven was kind of confusing, because, to turn it off and shit, I didn't know, it didn't say off or whatever, I don't know. I'll get more to that, but so I put the cookies in the oven. I cooked it for like 10 minutes because that's like how long you're supposed to cook it. And then I remember I was about to take it out, so I opened the oven, and right when I took the cookies out, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the smoke detectors went off. It scared the fuck out of me. It startled me. I didn't know that would happen. Yeah, it scared the fuck out of me. And I remember I panicked and shit. I fucking panicked, and I was trying to turn the oven off. I didn't even know how to turn the oven off, because that oven was kind of confusing. I was scared that, oh no, how do you turn the oven off? I don't want no fire to happen. And I pressed the button that maybe I thought maybe it would turn off the oven. And I remember that scared the fuck out of me. I remember I was panicking. I remember my dad came home. I told him what happened, and I told him I pressed that button, and he's like, yeah, that's how you turn the oven off. So I turned it off the right way. I'm sorry if I spit. I hate when I spit when I talk. Fuck that. But I turned the oven off and shit, and yeah. But that scared the fuck out of me. I fucking freaked out. My dad didn't get home for like a half hour after that happened, so I was panicking for a half hour. I was worried that the oven wasn't turned off, you know? I don't know, and all that entire smoke detector incident scared the fuck out of me, because that was the first time I experienced it there, you know? And I remember a couple days later, December 21st, 2012. I remember it was a Friday. I remember that was the day I got out for winter break or whatever at school. I remember I got home from school early, and my dad texted me if I'm hungry to make myself Tortino's pizza. So I got the Tortino's pizza out of the freezer and I put it in the oven, and I read the instructions on how to make it and how to cook it, how long to cook it, so I put it in the oven. I forgot about the smoke detector. I didn't think of it. I didn't think of a couple days, like, how many days ago was it? Like, I don't know. Like, about the cookies incident. I didn't think of that, so I cooked the pizza, and right when I took the pizza out of the oven, all of a sudden, the smoke detectors went off, and it scared the fuck out of me. And I'm like, I just remembered about that. You know, it scared the fuck out of me and shit. It made me startle. You know? God, and it happens a lot every time I cook there, you know? Every time we would cook there and shit, something out of the oven or the stove, it would go off, you know? And I remember one time it went off, and I got mad at it. I got mad that it went off, because it kept on going off. I got mad, and my dad yelled at me for getting mad at it. You know, fuck, it's annoying. I just felt like, you know, getting something and throwing something at it, you know? I felt like getting a hockey stick and hitting it or throwing something at it, you know? God. You know, and every time it would go off when my dad and his wife Heather would cook, they'd always like get a towel or whatever and wave the towel at the smoke alarm. That would like shut it up. And then like 20 seconds after, it goes off again. So we gotta do it again. And then it's like, it goes off finally, thank God. 10, 15, 20 seconds later, it goes off again and startles me again. And it keeps on doing that, like, shut up! God! I just want to throw something at it. It's just so fucking annoying. You know, these smoke alarms are so annoying. Why do they go off when you're cooking something? Like, there's no fucking fire. There's no fire, so don't go off and shit. You know? God. Only go off if there's an actual fire and there's like a huge amount of smoke, you know? If there's like not that much smoke, or if it's just steam, don't go off. Only go off if like there's a huge amount of smoke. That could mean there's a fire. And that's fine to go off. But you know, if you're just cooking something, there's really no fire, not that much smoke. God, don't go off and shit, you know? Fucking hate that. I wish these smoke alarms could, you know, be better and, you know, not do that. Like, they could sense if there's an actual fire and shit, and that's the only time they'd go off. Because I'm tired of every time I'd cook there at my dad's house, it would always go off. Same with here. And I remember we took the batteries out of the smoke detector, and there's no batteries in it, which is kind of bad, but We're tired of dealing with that. Sometimes I'm sleeping and shit. I'm in my bed sleeping and I'm worried that they're gonna go off and shit. Sometimes I'm just like worried that they're gonna go off. So I'm like covering my ears. I'm like, oh no, please don't go off. I'm scared the smoke detectors are gonna go off for no reason. There might be a fire or maybe the battery might run out. I don't know. I'd be worried about that sometimes. You know? I don't know, I just hate them mainly because they're loud and shit. Again, like I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, I have sensory issues and shit. I hate loud sounds like that. You know, when they startle me, makes me jump. I mean, same with fire alarms and shit. I don't know. You know, and you have to, you know, you have to have a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector. By law, it's I think it's against the law if you don't have one. If you don't have a smoke detector, my voice cracked, I'm sorry. If you don't have a smoke detector, and if they find out that you don't have a smoke detector, I think you could go to jail. I don't know. But, you know, fuck that. Oh, my friend Sean told me, me and my friend Sean were, chatting on Facebook the other day, and I remember he told me that on daylight savings he has to change his, smoke detectors. They say, when it's daylight savings, you have to change your smoke detectors. That's what he told me. I don't know. For what if that is, I really don't know why, but why you have to change your smoke detectors when it's daylight savings. I don't know what daylight savings has to do with the smoke detector. I don't know. But yeah. This is basically my video and shit. Might be an odd rant, I don't know. But if you don't like this video, then just go to the next video. Don't bother going down to the comment section bashing me with insults and trolling and shit. If you do that, well then you'll be blocked. I'll either keep your comment and reply, you know, give a nasty reply back, or, you know, I'll just delete your comment. Go ahead, call me a pussy all you want, but, you know, it's a zero tolerance on my channel, so yeah. Yeah, this is basically my videos, so yeah. Till next time, it's your boy Steve. I'll do more rants, videos, gameplays, vlogs, review videos, and any other type of video I do on my channel. So yeah, see you later. Goodbye.